Light bulbs. Fluorescent lights are terrible. They use too much power, they use too much money, and they shatter into a billion pieces whenever they fall on children's heads in an earthquake. So, let's get rid of them. What if we replaced every single bulb in this school with an LED replacement? What this project is going to go over is A, the different types of LED bulbs that are out there for us to replace the school with. B, how much money it would take to purchase all the bulbs, pay for the workers, etc. C, how much power we would save in doing so. And D, and this is the main focus, how much time it would take for that investment to pay itself off. So let's get started. So the first step of this plan is, of course, to count the lights in the school. Now, the reason I have to do this is because in order to replace all the bulbs in the school with LED replacements, we have to know just how many LED bulbs to order. Otherwise, we're going to either fall short or have a bunch extra for the future. Which means that I have a lot of counting to do, so I'm going to go do that. Okay, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 38, 539, 540, 541, 542, 710, 711, 712, 713, 714, 715, 1,200, 1,201, 1,202, 1,203, 2,004. There are 1,228.5 fixtures with 2 bulbs in each of them, which equals 2,457 bulbs in this school that we have to replace. In case you're wondering, yes, that took me a little bit of a while. So our next step is going to be figuring out just how much power we're currently using and the amount we're paying for it based upon numbers in which we already know. Now, as previously mentioned, there are 2,457 bulbs in this school. Now, every single one of these bulbs happen to be 32 watts each, as is the standard for fluorescent bulbs. In order to figure out how many watts are spent per hour on lighting, we just have to multiply the two together. 2,457 bulbs times 32 watts each equals 78,624 watts per hour. Now, BC Hydro doesn't charge based upon watts per hour. They charge based on kilowatts. So let's change that into kilowatts. 78,624 watts equals 78.6 kilowatts. So 4 hours for the remainder of the calculations, I chose 3,100 hours per year. This is based upon the lights being on for 10 hours per day. That is from 8 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. and 310 days a year being from August 25th to July the 1st. Because after all, lights turn off at night and we're not here all the time. Carrying right along, 78.6 kilowatts per hour times 3,100 hours equals 243,660 kilowatt hours per year. Now that number may sound like nothing to you, but let me put it to you this way. If you put that much power into a single human, they would die instantly. Now let's talk money. The school pays 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour for anything, really. So for lighting, 243,660 kilowatt hours times 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour equals $13,401.30 spent on lighting per year. This is too much. So fluorescent bulbs use too much power and cost us too much money. We get it. What can we do about it? Well, turns out there are 3 different options. Normally how fluorescent bulbs work is with a ballast. These raise the voltage from 120 volts AC, which is what the school gets through the mains, to 600 volts AC, which is what the bulb actually needs to operate. These options essentially ask, what do we do with the ballast? The first option is to just keep it. Ballast-compatible bulbs happen to work with pre-existing ballasts. All you have to do is change the bulb. The advantage of this is that the installation process is actually very simple. All we have to do is replace the bulb. We don't have to rewire anything. Therefore, that's less man-hours and therefore less money. The disadvantage is that these bulbs in and of themselves cost a bit more since they have to deal with higher voltages. Now, I found a specific type of light bulb on bulbs.com. It is a Philips 14 watt, 48 inches, 4000K bulb, which goes for $7.58 each American. So let's do the math to figure out how much power we're going to save with this specific bulb. So let's do some math. Every single one of these bulbs happens to be 14 watts each. They each cost $7.59 United States dollar, which is $10.12 Canadian. We need 2,457 bulbs, and since it's very simple to replace, there are only going to be 2 minutes per bulb, which is about 4 minutes per fixture, which isn't counting the gym, but whatever. So I have the math here. Let's start with the man hours. If you have 2 minutes per bulb times 2,457 bulbs, that equals 4,914 minutes, which is 81.9 hours. Multiply that by $20 per hour, which is about their wage, and you get $1,638 spent on man hours. Now for the initial cost for the bulbs. $10.12 per bulb times 2,457 bulbs equals $24,864.84 plus 12% tax because the government likes stealing our money. We get $27,848.62 up front. But now let's figure out how much money we're saving per year. With power, 14 watts per bulb times 2,457 bulbs equals 34,398 watts per hour, which is 3.44 kilowatts per hour, times 3,100 hours per year equals 640 kilowatt hours per year, times $0.055 per kilowatt hour equals $5,865.20 spent per year. No, I'm not doing another take. $13,401.30 currently spent minus that number, we would save $7,536.10 per year. Now, how long would it take to pay this off? So, time to return. If we take our initial costs and divide it by the amount of money which we're saving per year, since it's going to be adding up to that, then we would pay this off in 3.91 years. So we would save $7,000 per year and pay off the initial amount in 4 years. That is incredible. That is also not the only option which we happen to have, because after all, who needs a ballast anyway? Ballast bypass bulbs are bulbs in which bypass the ballast by being rewired around them. They work off the 120 volt mains. This here is the bulb in which you're going to be using for this. I'm sure we already know how the math works for this, so let's just breeze by it. $4.41 years. That, while a little bit longer than the ballast-compatible bulbs in which we just looked at, is still pretty good. Our current grade 8s are going to be graduating by the time those bulbs pay themselves off. And then, from there, we have more money to spend other places. Now, there is one more option in which we happen to have for replacing the bulbs. Why have a ballast whenever you can have, basically, a ballast? LED drivers use a separate component to convert the 120 volt AC that comes from the mains into 12 volt DC to be used by the bulb. This allows us to completely get rid of the ballast and never have to deal with it again. A downside, though, is that we have to pay for both the driver and the bulb. So here's the bulb, and here's the driver, and here's the math. So with an initial cost of that, and a payoff rate of that, I think we can officially say that this option is off the table at a cost of being not worth the time, effort, and money. So with that one clearly scratched off the table, we still happen to have two different options which we need to decide between: ballast compatible and ballast bypass. So which one would I recommend to the school to do? Initially, one might be tempted to say that ballast compatible is a better option. This is due to its lower initial cost of $29,486.62 over ballast bypass's $31,380.15, and also the quicker payoff rates, taking almost exactly half a year sooner to pay off. However, I would actually like to suggest that we replace all the bulbs in the school with ballast bypass. And the reason being is because ballast compatible bulbs use ballasts. Ballasts are a holdover from the fluorescent light era. They don't last forever. In fact, oftentimes fluorescent lights will outlive their ballasts. And so, if we switch to ballast compatible, then sure, we're going to save money in the short term. However, then we're going to still have to pay for ballasts going forward. If we just get a ballast bypass bulb, we don't have to actually deal with any of that sort of deal. So, to summarize, fluorescent lights are bad because they cost us too much money. LED lights are good because they don't cost us a lot of money. We have a lot of money that we can save here, so we should replace the lights tomorrow. Now, of course, I'm just going to leave you on one final note. These numbers were for KSS, and just KSS. Imagine, if you will, the amount of money that we could save and spend elsewhere if we replaced every single light in the district with LED bulbs. I've been Marcus McDermott, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk.